Hey there, and welcome to my desk. This is where the magic happens. Please ignore the stains. I've had this desk longer than I've been able to spell coaster. So, let's get started. So, I'm going to kind of just recreate the process I did to set up a photo I took that I'm going to be referencing, and I'll get into why I'm doing that later. But essentially, what I did is I took this little plastic trash can. I don't know why I have it. I think it's mainly used to hold like stationery or something. And then what I did is I took this handy dandy flashlight, propped it right there, turned it on, and shabam, it casts a real nice shadow onto my wall. But part of the reason why I decided to take a photo instead of using this as my live reference is one, I didn't want my battery to die. Speaking of references, one, I didn't want my battery on my flashlight to die. That would have been a pain. And two, really, I wanted the photo to be in the dark because I think that would look really cool. Just like that, it would make a really nice spotlight effect on it almost. So I wanted to do that. And another reason, truthfully, is I really don't have enough room for the reference, the flashlight, the tripod, and my pencils all on the desk. So, and we're going to set this aside for now. These are going to go away somewhere. And we are going to pull out my sketchbook and start drawing off of that reference right there on the wall. I just got it printed at Walmart for like $2. Okay, let's get started. So I think for this first sketch, I'm going to be using some graphite pencils. I'm probably going to go with the 4B for the midtones, the HB for some lighter stuff, and the 8B for those darker shadows. Okay. So to get started, I'm gonna grab my, see if I can show you, my HB pencil here, and I'm just gonna start sketching out a rough shape of the thing. I like to use my pencil to measure like how wide or long something should be. I feel it's a lot easier that way. I also like to go in kind of like smaller strokes, trying to make sure I get the shape I want, and then I can go back later and erase anything I don't like, any lines that I don't think work out. My old art teacher used to never let us erase because he said erasing changes the fundamentals of the paper, which I think he is right, but I really like erasing things because I make a lot of mistakes. Alright, up next we're going to just quickly sketch in this wheel well here. Might be a little too sharp an angle, but I don't want to waste all the storage on my phone, so we'll roll with it for now. After that, we're going to just go about drawing the bottom here. It's going to curve up, and we're going to create another line upwards. It's going to be great. Looking at it side by side now, I think these guys need to be a little taller, so we'll do that. The reason I'm not using a ruler for this is because the thing isn't really straight. If you kind of saw it, kind of like tapers outwards, so I don't think a ruler would be really accurate. Up next, we're going to draw just a brief sketch of the wheel, just get it down there. Don't forget the plastic in the back. We'll shade that in later because I know that's what you're all here for. Okay, up next we're going to create the lip. Just kind of draw a line across here. And it juts out a fair amount, especially at the top, the front here. And then on the back you have the actual hinge, that piece that, that's not right. You have that actual hinge piece at the back that creates the opening and closing movement of the trash can itself. Okay, now we got that lip there. We're gonna try to put in the top of the lip there. Perfect. And then now we're going to put in the lid itself, which is kind of gonna be this weird like kind of bumpy shape with that. It's a little hard to tell with how dark the shadows are at the back there. But you know, we gotta roll with what we gotta roll with. And then you can kind of create has like a little piece right there at the top. Okay, looking at it now, it's a little too wide. I haven't really been measuring with my pencil, but this is just a warm-up sketch. I'll do better later, I promise. And so what I really like about this particular reference photo is the kind of like arch right here. The way the smaller bulb of the flashlight kind of creates almost a spotlight around it. And what I like to do after this point is to kind of like sketch out the areas that are going to have the really, really dark shadows, like just pitch black. And there's a very strong area actually behind the trash can. Also gonna kind of outline the desk here. There's a very strong area behind the trash can, and right when the desk meets the wall, there's kind of like this really dark area there. And then the trash can itself has a really, really dark shadow that it projects right over the wall itself, because my wall's white or beige or whatever you want to call it. And then that kind of contorts, and you can almost see the shape of the trash can lid itself actually in the shadow. So gonna make sure that can be seen there. And those I marked out now are the areas with extremely dark shadow. And then what I'll go through and do is take the 8B pencils, see if I could show you that there. The 8B pencils, and then I'll just start to fill in that dark, dark shadow. You want to be really careful with this step. That's something I learned the hard way during my extra credit assignment during Module 1. Because this dark of a pencil, this dark graphite, does not erase, like, at all. You could try picking it up with the kneaded eraser. Like, the kneaded eraser does a decent job of actually picking it up. And then you can try using the plastic eraser to finish the job, but I've found that really annoying, so I just try to be careful with what I'm doing. And I'm using graphite for this one. I don't know if I'm going to use graphite for my final thing. I think I might do charcoal, because you can get a lot. The assignment's about shadows, and you can get a lot darker darks that way with charcoal, especially with the compressed charcoal that we got. So that's a good sign. Oh, I've been meaning to email you. This is a kind of a strange thing to say, but I hope you watch this part. But I've been meaning to email you about the fixative spray that we recommended, that was on the list. I bought some fixative spray, but when I went to the art store in Prescott, the guy actually mentioned that the company that makes fixative spray and sells it there no longer makes the odorless variant. So I know it specifies odorless in the sheet itself, but if you go to the art store, he won't have it. So that might be something you might want to look into editing on your sheet there about the odorless fixative spray. But it still works. I used it to seal up the charcoal on my first sketchbook assignment with the 10 squares and all that. That shadow's really rough, but it's not as dark as I'd like it. But this is just a warm-up sketch. Just trying to get the basic principles of this drawing down. But the fixative spray does really work well, but I could see why you recommended the odorless version, or the supposed odorless version, because it reeks bad. Had to evacuate my front room for a while there before the stench finally went away. Opened a few windows and everything. So maybe just tell them to get the spray, but use it in an extremely well ventilated area, which it does say on the bottle itself. So I'm kind of avoiding the top of the lid here, just kind of outlining it in kind of blocky shapes. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to go through and work on the lighter shadows on the thing itself later. Oh, another good top tip for darker shadows, especially with graphite, is you can kind of use your finger to like metal it up to kind of get rid of all that junk in the like the kind of like scratchy, papery looking thing. It works a lot better with graphite or with charcoal, so I recommend doing it with that instead of this. But beggars cannot be choosers in this day and age, but do be warned, it like makes you metal, and it might be bad for you if your like sweat absorbs it. I'm not too certain, so if it is, I apologize. But also beware your hands, because as you can see, I got it all over my hands, and now I'm getting graphite in places graphite shouldn't be. Another top tip for you there. Wipe this off of my pants. I wore the bad pants for a reason. Okay, back to it. I'm just going to fill this in real rough. I'm sorry, but I don't want to completely kill my 8B graphite pencil. These things were expensive, so I kind of want to keep it as safe as possible. And if you don't get to the part in the video where I talk about the fixative spray, I will email you later just to let you know. I've been meaning to email you, but with work and everything that's been coming up on me, I just had inventory at the store I work at, so everyone was a little out of tizzy for a while. And so I've been real busy these last few days. Okay, so get those eraser marks off there. Without completely killing my 8B pencil. Oh, there's actually another shadow that I almost missed right here at the bottom. It kind of like almost creates like a hill effect. I don't know what caused that, but it looks cool. So I'm leaving it there. Adds some depth to the photo, I think you could say. The composition, rather. So fill this in real rough as well. Like I said, we're just doing the roughest parts right now. Once I do my final project, I'll make it look a lot nicer, I promise. But I just want to get something on paper and record a little something so that we can get it going. I better hurry up though. I don't think YouTube lets you upload videos longer than 15 minutes. Okay. Like I said, real rough, but beggars, choosers, and all that. Now we're going to move on to the thing itself. And there's a bit of a darker shadow up at the top here that goes into a real dark shadow here. But I'm just gonna kind of like smooth this out a little bit, kind of give it that kind of depth. And then right before the lip, there's another real dark shadow. We're gonna kind of go in on that. Then, of course, you've got the wheel, the spokes of the wheel. So offer a pretty dark... And then the inside of the wheel offers a real dark shadow there because the plastic's sunken in. So... And then the in between the spokes are also real dark, but not quite as dark, so I'm not gonna like go crazy on it. On my final piece, I'll try to create a more solid wheel spoke shape, but that's what we're getting for now. And then one really interesting thing is there's a shadow up the side, but there's actually a strip of light that pokes through. So we're going to create a smaller shadow here, but we're going to leave a strip of light there because that's what the original picture has. And it's not quite done. It's not my favorite, but it is just a warm-up, and I am over time. So thanks for watching. Bye.